This week on Reliving the Extreme, we are discussing the episode of ECW from Halloween of 1995, October 31st, 1995. Nate Maxon here with you, along with my brother Aaron.
Hello.
And Mr. Chad Austin.
Hey, how you doing, pal?
Well, we're professional around here. We don't fucking ghost people when they're supposed to be on another podcast.
That's right. Fuck all them other podcasts. We're the only one that matters. And I'm not even sure I watched the fucking show. I got 10/24/95.
That's all right. We'll get you through it. Speaking of which, I got to find that Steve Austin thing. Chad was supposed to be on another podcast today and got stood up. So
no, I didn't get stood up. The guy was a fraud. He was a fraud. Like, you know, don't book talent, dude. Book talent. You know, I'm talent. Don't book talent to be on your show, and then you reschedule for another time where, when it's reconvenient for me, and then all of a sudden you just you ghost me. Is that what they say nowadays? Ghost me.
Yeah, ghost. He
ghosted me. And I texted him. I was like, hey, man, are we doing the show or what? And the guy didn't say anything. You know, fuck that guy. Whatever his name is, California Carey or whatever the fuck.
California cocksucker.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's unprofessional as a motherfucker. I mean, nobody knows anything more about being unprofessional than I am. And you know, and then
it wasn't the Colorado kid, right?
It wasn't the Colorado kid. It was the unprofessional guy, whatever his name is, California Karachi. I don't know. Fuck him. Good luck getting me on that show.
Died.
Yeah.
You say maybe he died.
I mean, Nate, I do a lot of shows. And I always put us over on a lot of shows because this platform has given me the leverage of being able to do a lot of shows because our show is getting heard by a lot of wrestling fans. Mm-hmm. So, like, people, you know, because, you know, of my past, they want to have me on as a guest and all. Yeah, I know. I mean, I handle my own bookings. You know, I'm not that big enough where I have to have a handler. Well, I mean, I need a handler for life, but
you need
it, but not for podcasts. But you know what I mean? Like, don't, you know, what's the saying? Like, don't jerk my chain. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's tomorrow night. What time you get off? I'll be home at 11:30. All right. How about tomorrow? What time tomorrow? I'll be up at 11:30. You know?
Right. And I don't know. It's just unprofessional. You know, sometimes we can't record this show, but I try to let you guys know if there's something fucking going on, I try to let you guys know as soon as I can.
Well, we're unprofessional, but fucking that's the way it is. At least we don't fucking lie to our people. And we don't fake book guests. You know what I mean?
And we're only unprofessional to each other. You know what I mean?
That's fine. Yeah, we
like stink. If we're about to record and one of you guys go, motherfucker, I don't want to record tonight. I'm just like, okay.
Okay, I'll just go drink beer.
Tomorrow, then.
Yeah, right.
Like, I don't need a reason.
I have no problem with that.
But word to the wise. Go ahead, Aaron.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, word to the wise, as a podcaster, I can say, if you're going to do podcasting and you're going to have guests and you're going to want people to come on your show and you don't want to get a reputation of being a stiff or an idiot, you don't even have to, like Chad said, you don't even have to keep the commitment, but communicate, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. It's like, I might get a blowy tonight, so I can't record. And he'll be like, okay.
Priorities, pal.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, don't book me. I have no idea what I'm going to get into tonight. You know? What's it always say at the bottom of the show sign?
Card subject to change.
Yeah, that's right. Card reserved change. Sorry, man. I'm getting a blowjob from a rat.
Well, let's get into this ECW episode here. We start the episode October 31st, 1995. It's Beulah's box. And of course, she talks about how something explosive is going to get in her box. Some TNT, little innuendo out your window there. But we pan over, and there is Steve Austin dressed in a terrible wig, doing his not impersonation of Eric Bischoff with his co-host Bongo. And there's a set of Bongo. This is just great shit from Steve.
He's popping the balloons, and he's like, "We're live." It's fucking good shit, man.
Monday night.
That was like that. That was like at I don't know. I'm going to say probably 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning is when he did that. I was there. I stayed for that. I stayed for that shit because Paul asked me to stay for that, and they must have taped, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 of them. You know, all that stuff. You know, I mean, how many was there? I don't know. I'm asking.
So far, we've seen 2. I'm sure there were more than that.
Yeah, and he taped, and Paul taped like 8 or 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9 of them, and that was either at the ECW arena or at the hotel, where they were
talking about Steve. You guys talking about Steve's promos? Yeah, you guys cut out a little bit. Sorry. There's going to be a lot more because we still haven't even got him with his shaved head talking about the ham sandwich and the fucking lunchbox and all that shit. We haven't even got there yet.
There's a ham sandwich? Wow.
It's coming up.
That's a hell of a payday. That's a hell of a payday for Steve Austin.
I love
a ham sandwich.
Some little things I noticed about this. Of course, he calls it Monday NyQuil, obviously referring to Monday Nitro. He says there's going to be a bottle of Geritol on a pole match coming up on Monday NyQuil. But I did notice one thing.
This is where the big boys play with each other.
Yeah, this is where the big boys play with each other. And I noticed one thing. If you notice, he shits on Bischoff. He's got Bongo there for Mongo. He does not at all in any way, shape, or form shit on Bobby Heenan. He just says the brain can't be here tonight.
That's in my notes. It's like, notice he didn't make fun of Bobby. He's like,
well, how are you
going to
shit on Bobby Heenan, dude?
Steve is
seriously.
This is the only guy I got respect for. I ain't say a bad word about him. He's like, oh, he didn't show up for work, so I'm going to fire him over the phone, too.
Yeah.
It's like, this is good shit.
Who's got a bad word to say about Bobby Heenan? I was lucky enough to meet him. He had cancer at the time. And, I don't know, it was like 2016 or something, like whatever. And my buddy was like, hey, man, you want to meet Bobby Heenan? And I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
It's a stupid question.
No, I drove like 120 miles. And he's like, all right, man. And he's like, all right, this is Bobby Heenan. And, he was sad, he was in a sad state. But I was like, Bobby Heenan, like, you're the best. Like, I don't even know what category to put you in as the best, like you ain't the best, commentator. What are you? You ain't the best. You're the best manager, commentator. You know what I mean? Like you're the best of all of it.
You're the best of everything.
Pro wrestling Swiss Army knife,
dude. That's Bobby Heenan, dude. And Bobby Heenan to me is like the end all be all of great. Like that guy is fucking just phenomenal. The 2 bumps that he took,
I love it when
I can't even do that today.
I love it when he shows up on I think it's TNA. Him and Mike Tenay haven't worked. I mean, obviously they're friends, so they've talked to each other. But kayfabe, they haven't worked together since WCW closed. And Tenay's like, I'd like to welcome a man I haven't seen in quite a few years now, Bobby the Brain Heenan. And first thing Brain says to him, hey, can you give me $5?
You got $5?
You got $5?
Was he all fucked up then?
No, he was still in good shape at that point.
Yeah, Bobby Heenan, dude, that was like the highlight of my career, like hanging out with him, you know, like literally, like I could have left my boots in the ring at that point. Oh my God, I hung out with Bobby Heenan. Bobby Heenan liked me, like he wanted to go out to lunch with me, but I had plans because it was far away, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I was like, I'd love to go out to lunch with Bobby Heenan. I would love to see what he, what Bobby Heenan's going to order. You know, if he's going to make a big scene, like it's like my breakfast with Blassie.
And he could make like offensive jokes, and nobody would get mad because it was Bobby Heenan. You know what I mean? Like Tito talks about it. Like people would be like, "Oh, he made so many jokes about you being Mexican and this, that, and everything." And Tito's like, "It got me more over because Bobby was saying it." And there's this primetime wrestling with him and Gorilla, and Gorilla Monsoon has this fucking like stuffed gorilla sitting on his side of the desk, and it's wearing like a Hulk Hogan like tank top or whatever. And Bobby goes, "What's that over there?" And Gorilla's like, What are you talking about? Is that thing over there? Is that Coco Beware action figure? And you're not even offended by it. Because it's like, that's funny because it's Bobby.
Well, I mean, that's racist before racist became a problem.
But it's Bobby, right? So you don't even give a fuck. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the way you got to be, funny, man. Like, you know, I'm that same way. I'm not saying I'm like racist or anything, but you know,
well, I don't think Bobby was racist either. He just knew funny was funny, you know.
Of course, that's what I always say. But sometimes funny ain't funny to a lot of people. I'm going through that right now.
Be that. But
people who appreciate humor don't get offended by humor.
Of course, no,
and Bob would be an asshole, but knew like by the end of it he was gonna get his comeuppance on it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna make fun of Tito, and I'm gonna make fun of Coco, and I'm gonna be an asshole, or I'm gonna make fun of Boss Man's mom, and I'm gonna do all this shit. And eventually, by the end of it, he gets his ass beat. Everybody goes home.
Of course,
it's good shit.
I mean, that's a heel, especially when you're a heel manager.
Greatest fucking heel ever is Bobby Heenan.
I wouldn't say he's the greatest heel ever. I would say he's the greatest manager ever.
All right.
Well, after the Steve Austin thing here, we get Joey Styles doing the intro for the show, and he starts off the hype for the November to Remember show coming up in a couple of weeks. And then a quick squash match, the Pitbulls with Francine versus Donnie Allen and the Broad Street Bully. Pitbulls win very quickly. Joey does note that Donnie has the number 499 on his shirt because this year he's up one. Last year, he was number 500 in the PWI 500, and this year he is 499.
I never made it.
You know, I should have asked Bob Smith about that when I had him on the show. I didn't even think about it. Why wasn't Chad Austin ever in the fucking PWI?
We should bring Bob on this. We should bring Bob on this show and have Chad ask him why.
Well, I asked Bill Apter, and Bill Apter was like, "I didn't know who you were."
Well, at least he was honest.
I'm thinking, like, you watch me get my ass beat, you know.
Well, after this, like I said, quick squash match with the Pitbulls beating Donnie and the Broad Street Bully. Jason reemerges after the match and puts over the Pitbulls, says he made a mistake. He shouldn't have let him go. They should ditch the prostitute, which, of course, he's referring to Francine. And then
where's Jason from?
What?
Where is he from?
Who's Jason?
Yeah.
He's from New York.
Because I don't know what that accent that he has is. Like, I don't know if he's trying to do like a European accent or if that's the cadence of his voice. I've met a lot of gay dudes and they don't talk like Jason. I don't know what that fucking accent is.
How do you like my suit? Gay.
It's a guy. It's essentially a guy that is terrible at doing a European accent, trying to do a European accent.
Okay.
And
So
it's,
that's right.
it's probably a guy who's also sorry the fact that Mario Savodi folded IWCCW, you know, because there's nowhere else for him to work. Fuck.
This fucking accent is terrible.
How do you like my anal? Fag.
Well, in this whole situation, Jason, if I wrote this down right, I think he kicks Francine.
Oh, he kicks her right in the face.
Yeah, I thought so. And then
he calls her a prostitute. He calls her a prostitute and kicks her in the face. It's hilarious.
Well, then the punchline here is, of course, the Eliminators are out to attack the Pit Bulls. So now, obviously, the Eliminators are with Jason. And did you notice that they are trying out a name for a total elimination here that doesn't work?
It's a shitty fucking name.
Did you notice that, Chad?
Hurricane.
Yeah. Joey Styles said like 3 things.
Hurricane Eliminator. What we would come to know as total elimination, they were originally trying to call it Hurricane Eliminator.
Dude, I know.
It's in my notes. This is a fucking terrible name for that goddamn move. It's a devastating move, but the minute somebody goes Hurricane Eliminator, you're like, what the fuck?
I'll tell you this. I took it. And that shit was smooth as silk, man. Like, I had no idea. I thought it was going to be brutal, and it was smooth as hell, man. And that was probably after he did it to Donnie Allen 42 times before he did it to me.
But yeah, it's a great looking move, and if they can work it, where it's smooth, that's even better, right?
No, I mean they're sloppy. They're sloppy. There's no doubt they're sloppy. That's not even a big deal. They were sloppy before they even got to ECW. They were sloppy when they were in Memphis with that finish. It's not an easy finish to do. You know, it's a timing thing. And especially when you're the guy taking it, it's a timing, it's a timing finish. Because all I got to do is stand there. I have to wait for the guy to sweep my legs before the other guy, gives me the leg lariat kind of thing, to knock me over. But if they're off, dude, it can fuck you up. I've seen them fuck up a lot of guys doing it.
Were they good guys?
The Eliminators?
Like Perry. Yeah, were Perry and Cronus really all right guys?
Yeah, they were fine guys. I mean, I met them the first time in Memphis when I was there, and we talked, and we were just hanging out, and I didn't have to work them like then. They were there. What are they? 4 weeks. Like everybody else was in Memphis for like 4 weeks, and we talked. We were in Louisville, and we just hung out, just bullshitted and all and everything. And I even told them they'd be perfect for ECW, but I didn't know. I'm not a scout. Just put that out there. I'm not a scout for ECW. New Jack. I'm not a scout. But I said, you guys would be great for ECW because we don't have any tag teams. We have the Dudleys and we have the Gangsters.
Yeah, that's because Public Enemy. Nobody wants to see that. Well, I guess people did want to see that, just not me. Rick Steiner and Taz come out to make the save to help the Pit Bulls here. Then the Eliminators come back out and attack Steiner and Taz. And then the Pit Bulls, it's like they had 2 segments they wanted to take, but they just aired them all at once. Because it's one of those things where everybody came out, everybody went back, then everybody came back out again.
I mean,
and
is
if
that
they
bad?
Could have kept it, no, it was good shit. And I think if Paulie could have kept Rick in that fucking company, he would have been like the most over motherfucker in that goddamn company.
Oh,
Like, that
come on,
fucking
man.
crowd
Aaron,
loved Rick.
There's so much stuff you could have done with him, like separately, you know. Scott wasn't staying. Fuck Scott.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't care about Scott, but that fucking crowd was so into fucking Rick Steiner. It's insane.
He could have easily have been a contender for the world title, right? Or
he could have been the man.
At least a TV title.
They could have put that world belt on him for fucking ever, and that crowd would have fucking ate it up, I think.
Well, no, I wouldn't say I wouldn't say put the world belt on him, but I mean he would have a good run with Shane. He could have had a good run with Mikey. I mean, that's Mikey's whole gimmick is he just gets the shit beat out of him, and he somehow finds a win, kind of thing, or just squeaks by, kind of thing. Rick Steiner would have been great at that. I would have loved. I mean, if I would have known, I mean, I didn't have any pull there at all whatsoever. But I would have championed Rick Steiner to stay here.
Yeah, he's definitely the kind of guy that translates well into the ECW style. And like Aaron said, the crowd fucking goes ape shit when he comes out.
They ate it up.
And after this whole segment, then we go to the Extreme Encyclopedia, where we get definitions of Sandman, Woman, and Mikey, which I think we've actually already seen all of them before.
No, they're different.
Oh, well, then I didn't do my homework because I didn't even fucking read them.
I wrote them down.
Of course you didn't.
Not that it matters. I'm a
you and Archie Mitchell wrote them down. What were they? Come on.
I mean, do you guys want to hear them?
That's what you put in the work. You put in the work.
All right. Sandman.
No, Aaron.
Sandman.
We don't give a fuck.
Okay, then we'll skip it.
No. Seriously.
Right.
Give us your fucking top 10, whatever the fuck it is.
Everybody stop talking then. Sandman is Smokus Brawlerus.
Smokus Brawlerus.
Cigarette smoking, cane swinging, beer chugging world champion with a propensity for violence, a fighter who has climbed the ladder to the top. There's some words in this shit I can't pronounce.
Propensity is what you meant.
Propensity.
I thought he said prosthetic. He's got a prosthetic?
I don't think he has any prosthetics.
I didn't know Mad Dog Vachon was involved in this.
Mad Dog Vachon.
Then we get a woman who is Foxus Gredius, and she is the what the fuck is that word? Basically, she's the classic male fantasy of beauty and seduction, a seductive henchwench with an appetite for money.
Henchwench
woman.
And short people.
We'll get to that with we'll get to that with Shane's or Steve's promo. And then we get Mikey Whipwreck, who is the miracleist underdogist, a 19-year-old messenger of imparable upsets, former ECW and tag team champion with Cactus, tries to use his 188-pound, clean-living, non-smoking, drug and disease-free body to beat the nicotine-addicted Sandman.
It said disease-free?
Yep.
All right, man.
So whoever wrote this is implying that Sandman has a disease.
Probably hepatitis.
Yeah. I don't know. Something. Gonorrhea.
The clap.
The clap.
He's got the clap.
I have no idea. Cliff Palate.
He's got a cleft palate.
I have no idea what Sandman's got. At this point, he's got it all.
He doesn't know either. He's like, it's green, it's oozing.
We get We gave you the test, Sandman, and you tested positive. For what? All of it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he does all his appearances at malls now. Like at the fucking the health screening places. Come on, you don't want to be like me. You know, you don't want to have gonorrhea of the lips. Fuck.
Syphilis of the anus.
Yeah, he has it all. Matter of fact, you don't even know what he has.
It's like I even think I got shingles. I don't even know how I got that.
Oh, dude, don't even start talking about shingles. He's definitely got shingles. He got it from New Jack.
All right. So up next on the ECW show, we have a.
He's like, I have hepatitis D. Like it's invented because that's like Sandman's the first guy with hepatitis D.
Yeah, it's hepatitis, all of them. Just you have hepatitis.
Up next, we get a Dudley's promo. And they talk about, or Dudley discusses how they're going to have a special ring announcer at November to Remember, and that ring announcer will be a Dudley. And of course, he says it can't be Dick because, and et cetera, et cetera. He goes through all the myriad of reasons why it can't be any of the Dudleys, but then it turns out it's going to be Bubba Dudley to be the announcer. And of course the gimmick is he's got the stutter. And then he does the dance.
It's so hard for me to buy into Bubba Dudley, knowing that I listen to him like 3 days a week on Busted Open. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And he brings it up.
So fucking. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, man.
I'm just gonna I looked at it and I was watching. I was like, I remembered that he was, but I'm like, God damn, look how fat he was back then.
I remember when I got to when I first got to Memphis, it was around this time, like right around this time, and when I first saw that promo of Bubba Ray Dudley stuttering, and I looked at it and I stared at the TV and I was like, I didn't know at first. I was like, I don't know. And then as soon as I saw the heat that he got, I just said, yeah, that's the way you do it. That's you know what I mean? This guy's got heat. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're a stutterer and you're a heel. Like we had this guy in a wheelchair at work. He's like, you know, he's in a little wheelchair and he zips around and everything. And everybody tells him that he's like, you know, he's flying around. And then at one point, some girl says, hey, man, you know, you're flying around here too much. And the guy says, I don't tell you how to walk. And I was like, what a fucking heel, right? Like, that guy's a fucking heel. He's a dick. And Bubba Ray was just being a dick. He was just like, all right, so I can't talk, but I'm still going to shit on you all motherfuckers.
But yeah, like I said, this whole deal is just to get Bubba over. Do you think? I don't know how I want to put this. Do you think that Paulie, at this point, this is? I mean, we've only seen Bubba for maybe a month on the show now, but do you think that
I
Paulie,
think he knew what he got when he got him.
All right,
That's what you're asking.
Yes, you just stood up my question. Do you think Paulie was like, this is the guy I need to quickly move to the head of this gimmick, to the head of this table, if you will?
Well, yeah, because Bubba had a tremendous upside. Not only could he work and get the gimmick over, but he was also a guy that papered towns and promoted towns, like for Paul. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Bubba will tell you that. I'm not pulling the curtain back on that and exposing anything. Like, yeah, Bubba would promote like all the New York City towns and all that shit. You know, yeah, but I mean, Bubba got him in the fucking Battalion Ballroom, whatever that was. You know, the place I wouldn't go to. It was just too far. It would cost me $4,800 just to go there with tolls. But yeah, I mean, he was a tremendous asset, and he's also a tremendous asset to the business today. If you think about it, and what was it, 30 years ago?
Yeah,
I mean,
almost.
25 years ago.
Yeah, I think when he initially got Bubba, I think he probably looked at it as like, this guy's a big motherfucker and has a personality and is probably going to give this Dudley gimmick more legs than what he thought it was going to have to begin with. You know what I mean?
I totally believe that, because I think before he came along, I think the Dudley characters were like I wasn't going to say stagnant, but they were where they were. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. It's kind of it has a shelf life.
Of course, yeah. It had.
Yeah, it was kind of like, oh, these first Dudleys, and we talked about it, is like, oh, that's Raven's idea, and it's going to be like a 6-month thing or whatever. But then when he got Bubba, and then when he got Devon or whatever, he's like, these are the guys that we can do something with.
Of course, yeah. I mean, totally. Like you said, Aaron. You know, it could have been a 6-month thing, but all of a sudden it was like, wait a minute, there's something here.
And it was funny to me in this segment, Bubba doing the little dance. I thought that was fun. But the Dudleys, thoroughly entertaining. Like Chad has said a couple of times, what a fucking gimmick. It's good shit. And it's fun to watch. And it's fun to watch.
It's probably one of the best gimmicks in the last 20 years.
And it's fun to watch them evolve. You know, you get to watch it from the beginning and watch it evolve into what it became.
Name a better gimmick in the last 20 years than the Dudleys. A better gimmick.
Like off the top of my head, there's not much. I can't.
No, I mean,
not one that's been created,
right?
It's not one that's been created in the past.
It's been recreated and recreated and recreated again. You know, like to the point where, you know, Dudley's 2.0. You know, Bubba and Devon. You know, Edge and Christian, like some of the best matches you've ever seen in your life, right?
Right.
TLC, probably one of the best matches of all time. You can put that up there
easily.
I mean, I wouldn't, but whatever.
Well, then after the bubbly, it's a bubbly segment. After the Dudley segment,
a little bit of the bubbly.
Joey Styles runs down some of the upcoming events at November to remember. He does say that Steve Austin is going to wrestle at that show. And then Public Enemy training Mikey Whipwreck for the ladder match with the Sandman.
Is the only time I've been entertained by those guys.
Well, Public Enemy or Mikey?
Not Mikey. Public Enemy. Like, this worked for me. Like, I enjoyed watching Johnny make Mikey run up and down the ladder and get him the beer and do all that shit. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was fine. It was what it was. I mean, you know, I'm not going to shit on it, but it was what it was.
Yeah, essentially what happens here.
I liked watching Mikey hang for, like, when Johnny's like, go see if there's more beer, and there's no beer, and he fucking takes the bump out of the tree. That was good shit.
Yeah, that was all right. I mean, I would have found beer though.
Essentially, to describe what Aaron is critiquing here, Johnny Grunge leaves to go get some paraphernalia and weapons that they're going to train Mikey with.
Oh,
and in the meantime, Johnny Grunge takes this as an opportunity to put down a 6-pack. He puts a 6-pack on a tree branch and sends Mikey up and down the ladder to get him beer. Beer 1, beer 2, beer 3, beer 4, etc., etc. Then when Rocco comes back, he accidentally knocks the ladder over, and Mikey is stuck hanging on the branch.
Mikey's hanging.
It takes the bump off the tree.
Hey, he looks like that monkey from fucking Lion King. You know, it's like hoop banana, moop banana, and he's like hanging from the tree. And then they're doing their shit. And then fucking Mikey falls and does like a fat back bump into the fucking dirt. It's fucking funny. I enjoyed it.
Where'd the 6-pack go?
In Johnny's gullet.
Johnny's gullet?
Yeah, Johnny drank all 6 beers. Supposedly.
A 6-pack is embarrassing. What the fuck? You got 3 guys and you're sharing a 6-pack.
I had no disagreement here. But I see that on a TV show or something. Like I see a guy sit down next to another guy and he's got a 6-pack and he's like, let's drink. And you're like, did you just bring that just for me? Or
Yeah, I get that. Like if some dude would sit down next to me at a fire and be like, I brought the beer and it's a 6-pack, I'm gonna be like, you need to go back to wherever you came from.
We're
Yeah,
gonna
$2.64 later. Buy 6 more, fella. I ain't got time for that.
Yeah, I always think that when I'm watching a TV show or something, and I see 2 guys sitting there, and they've only got a 6-pack, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Anyway.
How drunk are you going to get?
You're not.
No, of course you're not. And then
gonna
the guy
be
acts all silly. What? Off a 6-pack? Dude, I drink a 6-pack before I even fucking go to the bathroom in the morning. Fuck this 6-pack. That's embarrassing.
Well, up next on this episode of ECW, we're going to see our main event, which is Mikey Whipwreck and the Sandman in a ladder match. But before that, this up here.
It's one of the greatest. Are you playing the promo? I love this shit.
We get a promo from Steve Austin. So have
He's
a listen.
Got hair.
Austin with hair. Here we go. Steve Austin cutting a fantastic promo on ECW TV.
How great would it have been if Steve Austin would have stuck around for a little while?
I'm assuming he's dressed the way he is too much today. And said, I believe I deserve a break. And from the places I've been,
Who's the $5 piece of ass?
Woman.
Whipwreck, you amaze me, son.
Ooh.
Because you're a go-getter. You don't know what the word. I respect you for that. Nice guy. What a jerk.
He's a jerk.
Brother, I'm going to get your ass in the ring and I'm going to run circles around you. And when your tongue's hanging out there by your feet, off with a damn belt in my... On second thought, maybe I like him. This is Steve Austin. Love $5. What? Woman, none too happy about those comments. Is that the phone ringing? Whoever comes out of the next chat, right here.
There you have it. Steve Austin.
Yeah.
Taking some cracks at Kevin Sullivan in there, taking some cracks at, I mean, that's good shit.
Yeah, it was good, man. I mean, it was, you know, it was everything ECW was meant to be, you know, because, you know, they pulled the curtain back, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And
they pulled the curtain back and he shot on people and he didn't have to say names, you know what I mean? Everybody knew who he was talking about.
Everybody, anybody watching ECW knew what the story was there. Aaron, your comments on the promo. I know you have something to say about it. You have to because you're the one that wanted me to play it for everybody. So,
well, I just think it's the first glimpse of what that guy was truly capable of. You know what I mean? Like he did the Monday Night Quill thing and all the Hogan in the backstage or whatever, but he went in front of, at the time, basically the wrestling equivalent of like the Apollo crowd and cut a fucking promo that he could have either got blown back on or they would have accepted it, and they fucking accepted it. And this is like there was no more I know people say this all the time, but there was no more inside crowd than that ECW crowd. And it shows that the people at that time knew that Steve was the fucking man. You know what I mean? Like even before he got to the WWF, this is the fucking guy.
But the worst part was we didn't know how long Steve was going to stay. That was the worst part. Like everybody thought Steve was going to stay. We even thought that he was going to be there for a while, and we were always like, "All right, this is our guy, man." You know.
Do you think Do you think he knew before he went to before he even came to the ECW arena that he was going to sign with Vince?
He already did.
Okay, so
Yeah,
he's just doing his
was
no
a
compete kind of thing.
I mean,
no,
he
that
was
was
hurt.
a no. At that time, ECW was that place where they sent you before you got there. Not developmental, because it was way before developmental. You know, because the developmental they would have taken Mikey. You know what I mean? Or guys like that. But it was the guys like Steve that were like on their way to going to. And that was right around the time where Paul was getting checks from Vince, you know. And I don't care what anybody says. That's when Paul was getting checks from Vince. Like, book this guy, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Book
Yeah,
this guy
and
for 6 months, and then we'll take him from you, but we'll send you somebody else, like Just Incredible or whatever it was. That's how it worked.
plus Steve was hurt at the time, like he couldn't work, and they were gonna let him cut promos and shit like that on fucking WWF. Like it was a holding place for Steve until he got healed, and then they were
Yeah.
gonna bring him in, and
It was also a good look at Steve too, as well. Like, look at guys like Bruce Pritchard, who were doing developmental. I mean, I don't want to say developmental in that sense, but you know what I mean.
Scouting.
They were like looking at him like, yeah, this guy can talk, man. This guy is good. He can talk, and this guy's, I mean, Vince wanted him anyway, just because he was a guy from WCW that could work. He had no idea he could talk, And then you see him talk, and then it's like, damn, this guy can talk too. But Austin 316.
And it's crazy that it took once he got there, it's crazy that it took like a year and a half for Vince to like realize what the fuck he had.
And it wasn't even Vince, it was Steve. It wasn't even Vince at all.
Like, what I'm saying is, like, it's crazy. Like, this guy's cutting these promos in ECW, and then he shows up, and they're like, "Okay, we're gonna put you with $1 million man. Here you go." It's like he doesn't need a fucking mouthpiece. He is a mouthpiece.
No,
he can fucking talk.
And then in 316, rocket ship right there, buddy. Rocket ship.
Well, this match is a ladder match, but the structure of this particular ladder match, is the ladder is in play as a weapon, but you have to pin your opponent or make them submit to win the match. I don't have a lot of notes on the match. I have a note on the finish and then something afterward. But Aaron, do you have any notes on the match that you wanted to bring up?
I was watching it, and when they wind up outside of the ring, I noticed that Blue Meanie is in the crowd. He's standing next to Buck, the Buck Robley looking guy.
The Buck Robley guy was there.
Yeah, and he's standing. I'm assuming you think or not think Buck Robley's the gray-haired guy with the big mustache and all that shit, right?
He looks like Buck Robley. That's what Buck Robley looks like. He's got like a balding head. Yeah.
The fucking Blue Meanie's out there in the front row. I noticed it. I'm like, what the fuck? There's Blue Meanie.
I love Buck Robley guy.
What's his name? Brian. What's his real name? Brian Hefferman or whatever.
Heffron.
Oh, well, Blue Meanie is, but fuck him. I'm talking about Buck Robley guy.
Chad wants to talk about the Buck Robley guy.
Okay, but I'm just saying, Blue Meanie was standing by him.
I know. Who cares? Buck Robley guy is one of the greatest fans of ECW of all times. He's on every show. Maybe you didn't see him or recognize him, or that he didn't stick out to you, but Buck Robley guy is there all the time. And when I used to go to like the old school, like I'm talking like 92, like Fan Fest kind of things, and me and my buddy always called it the Buck Robley guy. and it's Bob McGee is his name, and he always comes to the building with his brother's. His brother's name is Sarge. I don't know if it's his real name, but it's Sarge and Buck Robley, and they're two of the biggest fans you're ever gonna see.
Just so you guys know, I'm gonna make the title of this episode Meanie and Bobby McGee.
Yeah. Yeah, Buck Robley guy is great, dude. As soon as you post this show and my buddy Scott listens to it, he's gonna be like, "Yeah, Buck Robley guy, he's great." Who's better than Buck Robley? Seriously, come on, Bob Sweethand.
And they watched this match and they were like, "It's good enough for Meanie and
Meanie and say it.
Buck Robley.
Well, the end of the match comes when Mikey splashes the ladder on Sandman and wins the ECW title by pinning him.
I know, but the best part is, sorry.
No, that's okay.
The best part is he splashes the ladder and knocks Sandman and himself out. Like, yeah, he didn't even know he pinned him.
He totally fucked that spot up. Like it wasn't a teeter-totter, was it? It was where he jumps off the ladder.
Yeah, the ladder's like, go ahead, Eric.
The ladder's on Sandman, and Mikey splashes the ladder, and when he splashes the ladder, he's smart enough to be like, when I do this, I'm sure Paulie told him, but it's like, I'm gonna splash this ladder onto Sandman and knock Sandman out for the 3, but also knock myself out. And it's like 1, 2, 3, and until Cactus comes out and tells him that he won, he didn't even know that he won the belt. It's great shit.
I thought it was one of them teeter-totter spots that Mikey knocked himself out on, because he did the same thing on a teeter-totter spot. Like when he jumped off the top rope to like hit the Sandman for the teeter-totter thing, and the ladder came back up and hit him. And I was like, "Oh, it fucks you up."
I thought it was a really nice touch and a really cool deal, psychology-wise and story-wise, that even though his character at this point is an anti-hardcore bastard, Cactus Jack is still super fucking happy for Mikey and comes out to congratulate him and wants to give him a hug. I thought that was a nice touch character-wise.
That was cool. And it was also cool that when the other guys came out, they didn't trust him and he didn't trust them. So he left.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like it's like he has this thing with Mikey. I may hate all of you, but I still love my buddy Mikey.
But it's Mikey, man. It's Mikey. He's cool. He don't mean no harm to nobody.
He don't mean no harm to nobody. Yeah, I mean, I get it. Yeah, I thought it was great too, because it was like, that's how you do it, when I'm not going to say passing the torch kind of thing, but all they were trying to do was endorse Mikey as the new guy. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way you do it. You bring everybody out there to endorse him. Like, yeah, man, good job, dude. You're the new guy, man. Now, now you have a whole cast of characters that are going to be gunning for you, even though they're congratulating you, they're congratulating you, but at the same time, like, don't turn away. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You turn back into a pumpkin at midnight.
Right. All right. That kind of thing.
It also puts over Sandman's character of, even Cactus Jack was like, fucking Sandman's a piece of shit. We don't even like him.
Ain't nobody likes him. Oh, real or fake?
But yeah, like the guys were talking about. Then the locker room empties out for everybody to come congratulate the celebration, the ECW arena, the new ECW champion Mikey Whipwreck, and then they played a video about Sandman that I didn't watch because the music stunk and I didn't care to watch it.
Oh, I Shazammed it.
Oh, good.
I wanted to know what this fucking song was. And it's funny because it's like Sandman's been a piece of shit for like his entire title run, and then he loses it, and they're like, "Oh, let's do this montage of his greatest hits as champion." And I'm assuming the song they used was "Enter Sandman" or whatever for his career retrospect champion.
I don't think it was.
Was it November Rain? Maybe.
I think it was Alice in Chains song. That's what I remember, but I could be wrong. I mean, I'm not always right.
I mean, I'm not always right either. But on the WWE Network, his title retrospect is to the song "Another Day" by the famous musician Willie Scott.
Willie Scott.
Wasn't he the cameraman for WCW? Willie Scott.
That's a rib. I know that's a rib. I don't know who it is, but I'm sure it's a rib.
Now that's a wrap on this episode of ECW. Overall, what'd you guys give this episode this time around? I actually gave it a B. I didn't find much wrong with this at all.
I think it's an A+.
What's the matter with you?
I
watching on black and white TV or something?
Show. No, I enjoyed the fuck out of this show. Like, I think it was a top to bottom great show.
Yeah, I gave it a. Go ahead, Sonny.
Sorry, go ahead.
No,
I thought all the Steve shit was good, and Mikey winning the belt, and the Public Enemy actually entertained me. I just enjoyed this fucking show. It was an A+ to me.
Wow, that's a big fucking statement. I give it like a B-. I thought it was great. I thought it was good. It told a lot. It told a lot of stories. It had a lot of great moments. But there's still more to be told. That's the way I looked at it. Aaron gave it an A, like thinking like it's like the end all be all. No, it wasn't end all be all. We still have an end all be all. Then you'll get your A.
Oh, no,
you know what I mean?
I'm trying not to watch it knowing what's going to happen in the future. I'm looking at it as I'm watching the show, not knowing, like putting out of my mind what I know is going to happen. So just watching it in the moment, I'm like, this was a fucking great show, I thought.
Yeah, it was definitely good. Like if I was, especially when I was coming home from a show and watching it on TV and going, damn, that was a good show. Way better than the show that I was on.
Well, that is going to be it for us for this week on Reliving at the Extreme.
Damn, we nailed it.
Nailed it. And do you guys have any parting words for our listeners or anything else to say on this week's show?
I love Jess. I'll tell you that. I don't think that's going to work though, but whatever.
Everything's worth a try.
Yeah, I mean it's on the internet.
Aaron?
Not really. Just listen to all the shows. Rate and review us, especially with the Reliving the Extreme. That's the way we get our numbers up and everything like that. So tell your friends, tell your wives, tell your
mistresses.
Listen to the Reliving the Extreme.
Tell your friends, tell your wives, tell your mistresses. Fuck it, tell your dog.
Well, they can't rate things. They don't have thumbs. But seriously, guys, not you guys, but our listeners, reviews and ratings on like Spotify and Apple and all that shit, that's what gets us up. That's what gets us up the ladder for the most part. So, and also let your friends know.
Also, if you listen to the show, quickly and simply sharing it on your social media. is another good. Share it to your Facebook or share it to your Twitter. Share it to your Tweeter or whatever social media you use. Just sharing the show can get it to somebody.
I don't know what you're doing with your Twitter, but don't post it.
We ain't got enough time for the Twitter stuff.
Well, I'm gonna twiggly deeply deep right out of here because I've got to piss. But thank you guys for joining us. For joining me. Thank you, listeners, for listening, and we'll see you next time around here on Reliving.
Always a pleasure, man.